That was like the best way to do it. It's like Christian surfers, like the perfect combination.
Hey guys, and aloha. It's Mark Sawyer Chu.
And AJ Ellerington.
Together we'll be hosting the Christian Surfers podcast,
where we talk Jesus
and talk with surfers that love Jesus.
Tune in to hear some amazing stories.
Hey guys, aloha and welcome friends and family, brothers and sisters to the Christian Surfers podcast. We're hanging out here in El Zonte, El Salvador at the beautiful Puro Surf. Con Marcelo Castellanos, he's an absolute legend. We met in 2012 at the Hawaii conference for the Christian Surfers International Conference. That was over 10 years ago now, and you were just a young Grom, but you were already surfing professionally, and you were with your whole family, your dad, Chamba, Pastor Salvador of La Red, and you guys just hosted us for the 2023 Americas Conference here in El Salvador, the first one since COVID. Marcelo, what's it like to have all of us back in town?
No, it's fun. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and it's always good to have you here in El Salvador, have all the people from Christian Surfers enjoying the waves here, bringing the vibe, and sharing the good news. It's always good to get together and praise the Lord. That's good.
Gloria a Dios. La buenas noticias. The good news of the gospel is what Marcelo is referring to. And I know you weren't able to be there for the entire time because you were actually in Waco, Texas, coaching a team, correct?
Yes, yeah, I've been like super busy for a while now. So I had that in my schedule for a long time. So I went there with some kids to do some training at the wave pool.
Was that the first time you've been to Waco, or?
No, I've been there like many times now. Like, it's a really good place to do coaching, the perfect scenario to just work on the details, and I like to go there with my students.
I love it. Do you prefer El Zonte or Waco?
No, El Zonte, 100%. That's an easy
good answer.
One.
That's an easy. It's the easiest question you're going to get on this podcast, Marcelo. And I've got a lot of great questions for you because I just saw you and Brian Perez last year. Ran into you at Bonsai Bowls in San Clemente, and then I ran into you at La Poma Theater and Encinitas with Peter Hamlin for Sweet Adventure. Tell me about how that movie came about, and how do people watch you and Brian in that movie? How can they follow you guys?
Right now, Peter is still doing the tour. I think this year they're doing the tour in Europe. They launched it in Staff Magazine, so to watch it live. But I think that it's still not out there. But soon it's gonna be available for everybody to watch the movie, and it's a super fun movie. And Peter called me one time through another friend. They connect us, and Peter wanted to do a movie in El Salvador, and he have some ideas, and we talk, and everything sounds great. And then like nothing happened, and like a year later he called me back, and he was like, okay, I have everything, we're gonna do this. And it was a really good experience. It's a great movie. It's like a different movie. It's not just all about surfing. It's about like
El Salvador.
El Salvador. It's about adventure, and it's about all the things that happens on a surf trip. That sometimes it's not always epic waves. So we have a little bit of everything, and it's funny. It's a super funny movie and great to watch.
That's awesome. Yes, you're right. It's not always about the surfing. It's the journey that makes the adventure as part of it. And you had Salema here, Masakela. You've had Matt Miola, Albulair. How is it having those guys here in El Salvador?
That's amazing. That's the guys that I've been watching for a long time, and they are like superstars, and just like having them here in El Salvador, hang out with them, and just have a good time with them was very, very special.
Awesome. Well, you're our superstar for the gospel, and you're our hero there. You kind of there's a really cool story, basically how you were up and coming as a pro surfer, and you're the one, not your dad, actually sent an email to Christian surfers to get Christian surfers started here in El Salvador. So you're really the reason why we are here. Can you tell us a little bit about how that happens?
Yeah, first, like, God used me to be part of that. It's not like anything that I deserve to be honored, like I'm the one. It's just that God gave me that opportunity to be part of all that. And it's a good story because I was surfing a lot. I was a competitor, and I was like fully into surfing, but also I was a Christian, and I just wanted to share like God with my friends, and then my dad, I think he told me, or somehow I find out about Christian surfers, and I thought that was like the best way to do it. It's like Christian surfers, like the perfect combination. So I wanted to like contact with them to see how we can do something in El Salvador, and I can like invite my friends and share God with them on a cool way, like how Jesus is, like simple, love, and great. So I sent an email to Bob Waters. At that time, he was like the director for Americas, and
you were how old?
I was maybe 15, 16, something like that. I was pretty young, and I sent the email, and I never get any answer back. Okay, and so that was the first thing, and I was like, no one answered. It was a long time ago, so internet, I'm still not good with that. So imagine.
But you're good at surfing.
Imagine 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, so I said, I don't know, something's wrong with this, whatever. And then at the same time, I was looking for sponsors and all that. So I was sending emails to the brands and stuff like that. And I was getting tired of sending emails and not getting answers back. So one day I was like, okay, God, I'm gonna pray. I'm gonna ask you to make something, like do something about this time that I'm gonna spend right now into like going and looking for sponsors and all that. So I prayed, then I went to the emails, and I find out that I never sent the email to Bob Waters.
Surfing communities are not all the same around the world. Often, some of the world's best surf breaks are home to the most disadvantaged communities. We believe in the power of the global surfing community to make positive long-term changes to beach communities around the world. By harnessing the resources of the international surf community, we are able to make a global impact. Using surfing as a platform to connect, Groundswell exists to meet the needs of under-resourced communities and offer tangible hope. Together, Groundswell Aid and our partner projects serve as a way to infuse love and hope within surfing communities.
Oh,
It was there, but never
it was
sent.
stuck.
So I just sent it, and he answered back like the same day. And
Wow.
that's how we start like the conversation. He was like, hey, can I talk to someone older, like your dad or somebody? So my dad came, like we started talking, and then we met at Costa Rica, and that was like they have like a conference there. So we met there.
What year was the conference?
What year?
For Christian surfers.
I don't know, like 20 years ago.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I can't remember the year, but it was like 20 years ago,
Okay.
and that's how we start. Like
You met
having
everyone
a conversation in person. Like I got to meet a lot of cool people that was involved in Christian surfers, and I just love it. It was like a really good environment, and people loving the Lord, but also loving to surf. That's great. And then we start like doing the chapter here in El Salvador, and that's how everything starts.
And now there's multiple chapters.
Yeah.
Right. There's El Tunco. There's Ozonte.
And Mahawal, and there's a few chapters that there, and the activities that are happening all the time. But yeah, that was really good, and I know that God made a lot of things through that chapter, and through that, and still doing amazing things through that. So it's really cool to see that it doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter where you're from. Like when you wanted to do something for the Lord, like He opens the doors, and He can make great things. So it's beautiful to see.
We saw that last week during the conference. Just being able to see some of the other chapters visit Lared, when we were having some of the worship nights and some of the conference activities. And then we went to Mahawa and a couple other places, and it was cool to meet some of the kids. And what a great group of Christian surfers you guys got here in El Salvador. And Rory Harley always says that too, you know, whether you're young, kid, or old, doesn't matter. You can belong before you believe. And you don't even really have to surf, right? But most of the people obviously have a love for the ocean, the beach lifestyle, the surfing lifestyle and culture. How did La Red kind of birth out of what was God was doing with Christian Surfers El Salvador?
So we started like meeting at El Tunco, and at the beginning it was a lot of young people, and then like it was a big group. Like all the locals you see like around, like they used to go to Christian Surf, and some of them they keep doing it. But at that time there wasn't much going on here, so that was like a big thing, you know, like, hey, we meet every Friday and we share the gospel, and we had a good time, so it was good. And then like a lot of people start like bringing the little brothers, let's say, so they're like all the kids. So then we were like, okay, we have like all the grooms and young people, but now we have a lot of little kids. So then we start the Christian Surfer, the mini Christian Surfers for the kids. Right. So then we had like 2 meetings.
Okay.
Then like all the moms start to come with the little kids, and like then we were like, okay, so now we have the grooms, we have the little kids,
the families,
and we have the mothers, the families, and all that. So what we do, and that's when like my parents and we start talking about like doing something that can include everybody. And then my mom, like she was involved at that point, but she got involved with all the women from the community, and my dad with the guys, and my sister, and like everybody got involved, and that's how La Red like start to grow, and they start like building these different programs for the needs of the community at that time and now, you know. So it's something that grows very like organic, you know, and I think we just been like following the steps on how things are growing, how God is like making all the things like through Christian surfers, you know?
Yeah, amen. But you started, and we love your mom and dad, and what a great church they got here at La Red, and the community is just so opening and open and welcoming. You know, it was my first time being able to see the church last week, but I know a lot of Christian surfers from all over the world come every year to serve at La Red with Marcelo and his family. So if you guys want to come on a mission trip, just go to christiansurfers.net or .com and sign up and come visit these guys and see this beautiful country. How did you first become a Christian?
I basically grew up like as a Christian. My mom,
with your parents and your family?
My mom was a Christian since I know her.
Since you were born.
And I went to a Christian school, so I grew up like.
They have Christian schools here?
Yeah, I went in the city to a Christian school, so I grew up like hearing about God and knowing about Jesus and all that. And then at some point in my life, maybe I got a little distracted or whatever, so I started like doing different things, partying or whatever. I was pretty young to do that, but I have an older brother, so I was doing all the things that my older brother was doing. And at some point, like I knew about Jesus and all that. At some point, like I really like start to have the desire of having a relationship with him, you know, like even that I had it before, but at some point it was very real, you know. I really wanted to know more about him, and I wanted to walk the right, you know, path you know, with God, and that's how I started going to church, and I started like serving in my church, and after that I get involved with Christian surfers, and that's how I.
Well, we love what you guys have done with La Red. I know in a lot of Latin American countries, culturally, it's in the past it was tough for a surfer to go to church. You had to cut your hair and can't wear zapatos, can't wear, you had to wear shoes and a tie and a suit. and you and your dad are always barefoot at La Red, sandy free friendly church, as we say in the Surf Church Collective. Just come as you are, anybody's welcome. What is the story of Puro Surf? I mean, this is an amazing place. We've got my sister-in-law Charlotte there helping us out with the podcast. My brother-in-law David is here as well. They flew from England to meet us here for the Christian Surfers Conference. Their first time in El Salvador, our first time here, and we've stayed at a couple places, but this place is beautiful, and plus you're here in this amazing place, and you got all sorts of training facilities. I think my brother-in-law David said to me, this is the first place I've ever stayed that's completely dedicated to surfing. I've never seen anything like this, and he's the biggest frother ever. He's out there surfing right now. He's probably been out there all day surfing for 12 hours. But how did the idea for Puro Surf come about, and how did you get involved?
So, because I love surfing, the same, I wanted to do something related to surfing. I knew that I wanted to, of course, I wanted to be a pro surfer, and I have sponsors and this, and I was competing, but I felt like I wanted to do something else, like for different reasons. So when I finished school, I studied to be a chef first. I moved here to El Tunco, and then there's an industry around surfing. It's not just a sport, it's not just a lifestyle, but there's an industry. So I started looking at opportunities, and that's how I knew that I wanted to do something related to surfing. That was one thing. Then the next thing is that because I was always looking for information on how to get better at surfing. I wanted to have a coach or something, but it was really hard to find information, was really hard to find a coach
training
in El Salvador, or a training center or something related to surfing as a sport. It was really hard. So I was like, I should do an academy.
You should build it. You should create it, and they'll come.
And so that's one of the things that I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to do or start an academy to help people to get information, to get better, to have a good introduction to surfing. And at the same time, I always wanted to share a positive message with people, and being a coach, I think that's a really good way to do it. I think that God called us to make the disciples, and being a coach, that's what we're doing, we're helping people, and we're shaping people, and it's really cool because when you're a coach, these days people don't want to hear, they're very closed. They have their heart closed, their ear closed, everything's closed. And also because there's so much information that if you're open for everything, it's too much, but
you don't know what to believe.
Yeah, but when you're a coach, and people trust you, they open their ears, they open their eyes, and you have the opportunity to plant some seeds and to give them some good stuff, for their lives, and to be champions, not just for surfing, but champions for life, So
Amen.
I really love the idea of being a coach, So that's how I start all this idea of having an academy and all that.
Dream with me, what if every surfer had access to a surf-friendly church?
I sensed there was this wave coming. I kept bumping into Christian surfers, people that were planting or involved in Sandy Feet Friendly Church.
But in those places where there is no church, somebody has to step in, and we're answering that call.
This is what's wonderful about pioneering something new. It's what's wonderful about starting a church where there aren't any other Christians. Because I can't do a big flyer run. I don't have any of those options. The only way our church is going to grow is with people getting saved. God's got to turn up and start saving some people. That's his job. All I got to do is just be truthful to who he is, follow him. But he's kind of in the business of turning up and showing off. That's what God loves to do. He's the I am.
Then I got injured on my knee on a contest. I was praying the day before, God, there's something else. I don't know. I felt I don't know what you want me to do, but be clear, And the next day I got injured on my knee. So I was like, oh, something, yeah, God is telling me something. You know?
He's trying to get your attention.
Yeah, and then the recovery was going to be like a 10 months recovery or something like that. And my dad told me like, hey, there's an opportunity to go to Argentina to study hotel management. And I was like, maybe that's what God is telling me to do, you know. And my sister at that point, she was going to move to Argentina also to study, Andrea. And I was like, okay, this is a good opportunity to spend some time with her, you know, and like be with her, study, you know. And I check on the internet.
The waves.
And the ocean is closed, you know. The waves are not too good, but there's some waves.
Spoken like a true surfer.
Yeah. Then I moved to Argentina. When I moved to Argentina, I find out that the waves I saw, or the ocean I saw, it was the river. So I was like 6 hours away from the ocean. The river was pretty close, but no waves in the river because it's a huge river and it looks like the ocean. And my sister never moved to Argentina. So
you went by yourself?
I was by myself over there. So okay, this is the plan. And I started studying.
You were Jonah.
Yeah. And then my thesis to graduate from university was about Puro Surf. So that was my thesis. So I put together the hotel,
the business plan,
put together the academy and the restaurant. So I studied for being a chef, I studied hotel management, and I love surfing. So like
this is
that
all
was
you.
my thesis about Puro Surf, putting together
the idea.
So I did a business plan. Then I came back to El Salvador. My dad helped me a lot, like on starting the everything, you know. He was like a huge support for me and all my family. And I started, and that was like around 12 years ago, and here we are.
Wow, beautiful country, a lot of great places to stay. But I know, speaking for Charlotte and my family and Lydia and the girls, this is one of our favorites. And so how can people book a room? How do people follow you and keep in touch with you and come here and experience all of this?
Easy. You can just go to purosurf.com and you can book a room there straight.
Okay.
We also have what a lot of people is coming to do is the surf camps.
Yeah.
So that's like a week, or they can do more than a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. And
it's a full package.
It's a
where you can learn to surf,
and
advance.
We have different levels. So we have the beginner level, we have the novice level, and then we have foundation and advanced. So depends on what your level, you're gonna do a different camp. And that camp, the idea is to experience a holistic approach. So we put together a lot of key things to teach somebody from zero, but not just work on the technique or just the physical part, but the technique, the physical part, psychology, you know, and tactics. So they learn about the ocean, they learn about the techniques, they learn about how to get in shape, or if there's a limitation on the technique that might be on the body, and we work on the mindset, you know. So we put together a lot of tools so people can come and experience like a really good week that's gonna help them to learn how to surf or improve their surfing, and also get a lot of tools so they can apply those tools in their daily life, you know. So that's really a really cool thing, and that was one of the things that we wanted to do, like from the beginning with Puro Surf. And like 2 years ago we started doing it, and it's been great. We had a lot of people that is like learning, improving, and we're doing something really cool with that.
Amazing. What year did Puro Surf start? What was the first year that you opened Puro Surf?
In this place, this location was 5 years ago.
Okay.
And then the academy, because that's how I started everything, with the academy, that was like 12 years ago, like something like that.
Amazing. Before you had this place.
Yes.
Wow. Yes. Well, the food is amazing, guys. The training's amazing. They got a very cool surf skate bowl where they could train you as well. The gym's beautiful. They've got ice baths. coconuts from Puro Surf. I just baptized my Puro Surf t-shirt. Anything you guys want, and plus Marcelo's here bringing the kingdom of God to El Salvador. You're not only a great surfing coach, but you talked about shaping lives. He's also a spiritual coach for a lot of these kids. Last question for you. You've been coaching Brian Perez. How did that relationship form? And watching him in the WSO and IC contest, I remember during COVID, he had a Christian surfer's mask from you.
Yeah.
How did you guys meet, and how did that relationship evolve?
Brian, he's from Punta Roca, so I've been going there. That's one of the best waves in El Salvador, so I've been going there my whole life. And that's how I met him. He was a little kid just taking care of the cars and all that. And when I started the Puro Surf in El Tunco, I also started a program called the Sharing Waves, and the idea of that program is it was to open the doors for the Groms to come and train, and Brian was one of the Groms that came to train, and he was one of the Groms also to stick to the program, and he was always there. He was always very humble. He always hear all the instructions and everything, and we start like a really good relationship, and we've been training together for a long time now.
How old is he when you met him?
I think he was maybe 13,
Wow.
13 years old, something like that, and
Super cool.
And now he's 23, and it's been amazing, because I know him since he was like a little kid.
Yeah.
And not being like the best surfer, just a Grom that loves to surf, and watching him grow as a person, spiritually, his mind, everything. It's been a beautiful journey, and I'm super grateful with God first, and with him, because for me it's been a great journey also as a coach, and to find someone that is committed to is willing to pay the price, of what it takes to get to that level, and because of that I've been able to go to so many places, a lot of contests.
You've traveled with him.
Traveled with him a lot, and it's been great. So I'm super grateful.
That's amazing. He's blessed to have someone like you in his life, Marcelo. And he was the wild card last year at the WSL contest, which is coming up again soon. So we'll be praying for that as well. We'll be watching you guys online. Marcelo Castellanos, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for having us at Puro Surf. Even a kook like me, he's helped me a lot and encouraged me. Thank you for all that you do for the young kids and the surfers here in El Salvador, investing in them, shaping their lives toward the kingdom of heaven, and your family as well, and all that they do in El Tunco with La Red. God bless you guys. Make sure you follow this guy on Instagram. Check out purosurf.com, and we'll see you again soon.